Imagine you're at a party. You drink something. 10 minutes later, you're still completely normal. Another drink. You're feeling pretty good. A little later, you're laughing at jokes that weren't even funny. Then suddenly, you're having a very serious conversation with a lamp, and somehow the lamp is winning. But here's the weird part. Alcohol isn't a magic potion. It's just a chemical mixed into a drink. So how does putting a little alcohol into your stomach turn a perfectly functioning human being into someone who thinks they're an incredible dancer? The answer starts with something surprisingly simple. Alcohol gets into your blood. When you drink alcohol, it doesn't just sit in your stomach waiting to make you drunk. Some of it is absorbed through your stomach, but most is absorbed through your small intestine. From there, it enters your bloodstream. And your blood has a very important job. It carries alcohol all around your body, including straight to your brain. Now, your brain is basically a giant network of cells constantly sending signals to each other. These signals control pretty much everything you do: moving, talking, thinking, remembering, and unfortunately deciding whether attempting a backflip in a crowded room is a good idea. Alcohol interferes with those signals. One of its biggest effects is on a chemical messenger called GABA. GABA basically acts like a brake for your brain. It tells neurons to calm down. Alcohol makes this braking system work more strongly, so your brain starts slowing down. At first, this can actually feel pretty nice. You're more relaxed. You might become more talkative. You may feel less nervous, and suddenly that person you were too scared to talk to 5 minutes ago seems like your future best friend. But there's a problem. Your brain isn't only responsible for anxiety, it's also responsible for things like judgment, coordination, reaction time, and self-control. And alcohol doesn't politely choose which parts of your brain to slow down. It starts interfering with all of them. That's why the effects become more obvious as you drink more. Your reaction time gets slower, your coordination gets worse, your speech can become less clear, and your decisions become increasingly questionable. This is where something interesting happens. You might actually feel more confident while becoming less capable. That's because alcohol doesn't simply make your brain happy. It also reduces the activity of areas involved in inhibition and decision making. Basically, the part of your brain that normally says, maybe don't do that, gets a little quieter. And the part saying, do it, this will be hilarious, suddenly gets promoted to manager. But alcohol doesn't stop there. As more alcohol enters your bloodstream, it affects your brain more strongly. Your vision and coordination can become impaired, your speech can become slurred, your balance can get worse, and your memory can start failing. And that's where things can get genuinely dangerous. You might have heard of a blackout. A blackout doesn't necessarily mean you've passed out. You can still be awake, walking around, talking, and doing things. The problem is that your brain may stop properly forming new memories. It's almost like your brain's recording system has been unplugged while the movie is still playing. So the next morning, someone might tell you, remember when you spent 20 minutes arguing with that chair? And you have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. At very high levels of alcohol, the effects become much more serious. Alcohol can suppress the brain systems that control essential functions like breathing and consciousness. That's why extreme alcohol intoxication isn't simply someone being really drunk. It can become a medical emergency. And there's one final thing that makes alcohol especially interesting. Your liver is responsible for breaking it down. It converts alcohol into other chemicals that your body can eventually process and remove. But your liver can only work so quickly. So if you drink alcohol faster than your body can break it down, the alcohol concentration in your blood rises. And that's when the effects become stronger. So alcohol doesn't actually contain some mysterious ingredient called drunk. It changes the chemistry of your brain. First, the brakes get stronger. Then your judgment starts slipping. Your coordination follows. Your memory can disappear. And if enough alcohol enters your bloodstream, the systems keeping you conscious and breathing can be affected too. So the next time you see someone acting completely different after a few drinks, remember, their personality didn't suddenly disappear. Their brain is simply trying to operate while the chemical is interfering with the signals that normally keep everything under control. Which is a pretty complicated way of saying, maybe don't let the drunk guy be in charge of the karaoke.